Hey guys, how are y'all doing? Hey, life off the grid. Woohoo! B.O.B. We have volume. I just waited a second to get started till a few of you piled in. Yes, I like his channel too. He's very interesting. Although he does endorse channels that I think are pretty sketchy. Not all of them, but a couple of them. Hey, Pixie Doll. Haven't seen you in a while. Woohoo, Robin's here. And some names I haven't seen before, which is cool. Very cool. Welcome to everybody. Hey, Daisy Days. Okay, so the question for today is, have Christopher Watt's parents hired a lawyer for him yet? And if not, why not? Or maybe a better question is why, when a lawyer offered to help pro bono, did they all of a sudden decide to jump on YouTube with a channel creator who was trying to act like she was a lawyer? But remember, it didn't matter what her credentials were, according to her, because she knew people who actually had credentials. So let's dig in and think about it. Why, when they had a lawyer offering to help pro bono, did they refuse the help? Life Off the Grid says that Bam and Dorothy said nice things about me last week. Really? Because 2 days ago, Dorothy was bashing me in her live chat. Yes, Robin. According to KK, the non-credentialed, but she's connected to credentialed people, YouTuber, according to her, the sister called her and said, let's do it now. Yes, my peep I 44. Yes, like you. I've never seen your name before. Do you mean the channel who tried to act like she was a lawyer, or do you mean the lawyer that offered to help pro bono? I mean, if they think that he needs to stand up for his rights, then why did they decide to go YouTube instead of courtroom? They do, Robin. It would be Chris's move to make, of course. But why would they have gone to a YouTuber? Well, you know, there's an old one-liner that you can pretty much depend on. And I'm not sure that this is why, but I'm just throwing it out there for discussion. And here it is. Follow the money. Your interest would be peaking, not peaking. I'm not sure how to spell it. I can't believe I just said I'm not sure how to spell it. I heard that she was saying she was grateful how I handled Chatterbox. Yes. I think I even said something about it on her channel, that I don't put up with that kind of crap here or something like that. But then a couple days ago, she decided to start bashing me again. I think it's for content, quite frankly. I do too, Robin. Robin says, I think Chris still suffers from battered husband syndrome. He won't stand up for himself. And that's exactly why, in my opinion, his family needs to. And yet, when they had the opportunity to, they chose instead to YouTube it. Piquing your interest, not peeking like peekaboo. I think it's pretty fishy. I think it's all pretty fishy, especially when we look at it in hindsight, right? And we're like, okay, that channel ended up to be nothing but a big flop. And then it spawned another channel creator who was nothing but a total flop. And then more channels were created, right? More channels were spawned from the other super fishy ones. Super fishy, there you go. Life off the grid, super fishy. You know, we've said this before. What other channel is there where people are actually discussing the case? There aren't any. They're all fishy. And if you don't think they are, just wait. They'll show it sooner or later. Which brings us, let's go ahead and jump right over to a different topic. The case, and we don't say names in this chat, Life Off the Grid, since you're new here, and my Peepeye 44. We don't say names. We just do like initials or nicknames. But there's a case of a missing 5-year-old that everyone's flipping out about. And from what I've seen, I don't believe any of it. There was one channel who was really priding themselves on having all the, inside scoop and talking to the strange sounding father, who, by the way, with his own words, admitted to raping his 5-year-old stepsister. They don't use the word rape, they soft pedal it as SA. He said she initiated the contact. He was 12, she was 5. And then that channel proceeded to discount the survivor's experience. In fact, one of the channel creators said, well, it's different if it's an unrelated stepsister compared to if it's your own daughter. And then they all acted shocked because in the neighborhood, there were 10 registered SAers. Oh, imagine that when they have one living right in the house, right? Now, he wasn't registered, right? But he evidently admitted all over the internet that his 5-year-old stepsister initiated it. And he said they were just kids playing house. That's playing house. So then all of a sudden we hear a short little phone conversation with the weird father. And you can hear his wife in the background saying something like, get off the phone or something, but not those words exactly. But you could tell she was mad that he was talking with her again. And then what happened? Oh, now we're told that he wanted to do some kind of scheme. So they decided to take the high road. Really? They decided to take the high road? Okay. Hint, hint, hint. So now they've come up with this cockamamie bull story that they went and turned everything over to the police and they're somehow cooperating and they know something and they're supposedly, hinting that they know something really important about the case. Really? You really believe it? They went to the police, told them everything, and they know stuff, right? And so what do? They go online and talk about it. You think? You think the police are saying, oh, wow, hop right up on YouTube and tell them that you came and talked to us? No, I would dare say the police would have said, okay, you need to stop talking. Well, I'm still disgusted mostly by how they tried to victim shame and victim blame and how they're pretending that raping a child isn't really that big of a deal. It happened 37 years ago. What's the big deal? I thought of something else too, jumping topics again. There are some channels who are saying they're going to help clean up the internet. They're going to expose people and they're going to, point out the people who are pulling scams, right? Yet they endorse a couple of channels that are known scammers. Well, they also want you to email them. Be sure to email them. You have to email them. So is it information about scammer channels that they want? Or, as we learned with that pet show from a couple years ago, is it really your email address they want? And Life Off the Grid, did you notice that they claim to have like over 4,000 people in a chat? Now, if you believe that number is authentic, if you believe that there were actually over 4,000 people taking part in the chat, I'm thinking you need to buy some swampland in Florida. The way that the sister has been treated on that channel is so disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting because it isn't just the stepsister who's being treated that way. It's every single survivor. And did you hear when one of them was trying to backpedal a little bit and he's like, yeah, people just misunderstood me. Yeah, they just misunderstood. Yeah, just a couple of people misunderstood. No, like 99% of the people who heard it thought, OMG, what did he just say? He's saying it's different because when it's a parent to a child, then that's incest. Evidently, when it's a stepbrother to a stepsister, that isn't incest. I'm telling you, these channels have got to stop treading into the deep waters of discussion on important issues because they are harming people. And I have to just, I guess, realize they don't care. They don't care. There was a channel creator the other day who said that he wants women to fight. If they're being attacked, they need to fight. They got to fight. Yeah, you got to fight. You got to fight. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't listen to a YouTuber, especially a male YouTuber, telling you to fight. Because if you fight, that might be what gets you killed. And once again, somebody is giving advice, treading into the deep waters of a discussion on an issue that he evidently has no education or training in. So if you listened to that video and you thought, oh my gosh, if I ever get attacked, I'm going to fight. No, don't. If you are getting attacked, then you do what your own survival instincts at the time tell you to do. Sometimes you'll survive because you choose not to fight. Sometimes you'll survive if you choose to fight. But there is no one size fits all for how to survive an attack. And shame on him for not being more careful with his platform. And the same with the behind the walls people. Shame on them for harming survivors of SA. Exactly, Pixie Doll. There are 3 survival instincts: fight, flight, or freeze. And sometimes it is the survivors who actually froze who survived because of it. What that advice also achieved was victim blaming. And I don't think he ever intended to victim blame, but this is exactly why they shouldn't be talking about it. But he did victim blame. He did. Because then somebody who is a survivor who didn't fight begins to take on that burden that somehow it was her fault. The case is so weird, though. It is so strange to have somebody like the behind the walls people, absolute underachievers, calling a retired detective, what was the word? I can't remember. Jesus, what was the word that the behind the walls people were calling the retired detective? It wasn't, I think it was expired. I think that's what she called him, expired. Bashing his career. Well, what career have either one of them ever held? I don't know. Are they fundraisers, like professional fundraisers or something? What career have either one of them ever held? What career have either one of them ever succeeded at? Which, let's go ahead and jump to another topic. All of this bashing of the gambler in the UK, they're talking about gambling, his gambling, as if he's some kind of an addicted weirdo. I'm not sticking up for him. I think he's a screwball. But I am sticking up for gambling because the narrative they've spun about his gambling is that he's some kind of a weirdo who lines up at the slot machines and can't resist spending all of his money or something. That is not how the poker tournaments work. But they don't get it. And when they say, oh, he failed at this business or he failed at that business, what business have they ever successfully run themselves? Ever? Did they ever open a business? I'm thinking not. I'm thinking they're pretty much musicians and wannabe actors and actresses who never got the gig. You know, the dream gig. Professional poker players are nothing to scoff at all. But they run with that narrative like it's an insult. I agree. Underachievers is too kind. I actually was somewhat supportive of her for a long time. Even though I didn't like her style, I thought she had a lot of good to her. And I really think that that relationship is not a good situation for her at all. That's just my opinion. I don't think he treats her well. I don't think he treats her well at all. I think he has a very short fuse. I think he's very insecure. And I think it's very careless of her actually to have, chased after him. But after they did not stop with the victim blaming for SA survivors, then I realized they're two peas in a pod. Maybe they're a better match than I ever thought. Well, take a look at the channels. They're wannabe actors and actresses. They're wannabe singers. They're wannabe musicians. They're wannabes. Maybe we should call them wannabes instead of scumbag attackers. Maybe that would be a better moniker. For the groups and the gangs and the teams. They're wannabes. They have wannabe mediators, they have wannabe advocates, right? And they have wannabe true crimers, but I've yet to find any of them who are actual true crimers. They're just jumping into the true crime community to try to, grab onto some, what they feel, I guess, is fame. Scats is good. Yes, I like that. Who is Couch Lady? Well, don't tell me who, but give me a hint. Do you mean the recliner one? Tennyson Parks. Boy, we have a lot of new names in here today. Says, I was just binge listening to you caught alive now, or caught alive, how fun. So was NA a friend of SW or just a coworker? I don't think she was a coworker at all. Oh, do you mean people signing up for MLMs and going off for weekend jaunts to call it a business trip? I don't know. I don't know if she was a friend either. I don't know. She said she was a friend. She didn't know how old she was. She wasn't at her wedding. I don't know. Yes, Sandy, I wondered if you guys would hear that. It sounds like it stopped now. I don't know who Skeezy is. Is that the friend that they have on who is making excuses for rapists? Well, actually, I do feel sad for her when I take a look at some of her photos that she was showing from just a year or two ago, a couple years ago. It seems to me like she has something going on that probably has nothing at all to do with what she's eating. My guess would be that she has yet to be diagnosed with some sort of a metabolism issue. Well, I did notice one thing about that friend of the walls. He has a really strange habit of using the wrong word or using the wrong, I don't know. I was almost going to do a little video, like a little vocabulary lesson, but I thought, nah, not worth my time. I don't know the Red X one. I think I've seen a couple of things, but I don't know. It doesn't stand out. So I guess let's turn it in the other direction. Name one channel creator out there who's actually interesting to listen to. I saw that True Tam, hold it, I clicked on the wrong one. I saw that True Tam posted that, and then she right away said she was wrong. So if Miss True said she was wrong, I'm curious why she was so adamant when she posted it that it was the truth. And then right away she said she was wrong. But then her apology was pretty lame, I thought. I'll see if I can pull it up. It was pretty lame. Let's see here. If I can find it, I'll try. We'll have a little lesson in how to apologize. Let's see here. Oh, there's her video where she thought it was fun to bash us. What a joke. Here it is. Can you hear me? Here's the apology. After further investigation, I have deleted my previous post with regards to NA. I would like to publicly apologize. When I'm wrong, I own it. I was sent the information, and when you search her name, the arrest article comes up. They do look a lot alike. This does not mean I no longer think she should be questioned further. Blah, 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 blah. That, my dear friend, is not an apology. Yes, Robin, I love, love, love that channel. She does a really good job. I'm not sure if she's a wackadoo or not. I do think that she, just like the Walls one, all of their claims about having so much contact with Cindy, I don't believe it. I just don't. It really makes me concerned, though, for the entire true crime community because the changes that have taken place in the last few years, it's like there's, I don't know how to say this. It's like the true crime community on YouTube doesn't even exist anymore. Instead, what we have are just a bunch of wannabes who seem to be interested in joining their little teams and gangs and whatever to try to push out any actual true crime channels so that they can, grab onto that brass ring or try to. I don't know. It's too bad because not that long ago there were actual discussion channels on true crime cases, and there's so few left behind now. It's it's really sad. There used to be quite a few channels too that would play the trial coverage. Now there are just a couple. I can see why everyone is running off to other platforms because it's like YouTube is already controlled by the wannabes. I agree with you, DG. Everything's upside down, isn't it? I Love Tacos says, thinking SW had breast implants causing the lupus autoimmune scenario. The pics indicate this, and her insecurity also factors into the body mind dysmorphic disorder. Big words, I Love Tacos. Well, talking about the case of the 5-year-old, Suze, I don't think there's a whole lot of honesty going on a lot of the channels that are talking about it. I think they want to build their channels. And personally, I don't believe the numbers. I don't believe the subscribers. Tennyson says, I doubt she has them. Breast implants? Hey, Ray. How are the babies? How's mama? I'm thinking that whole case is just way too sketchy to even make any sense of at all. It just isn't how it works, you guys. Investigators do not use YouTube channel creators to try to get information. No doubt about it, investigators check out social media, but they don't work with, one of the channel creators actually claims she's a big part of some other case that's going on too. Well, they're not going to say to them, yeah, hop up on YouTube and make a bunch of enemies and that'll work for us. Exactly, Suze. It's an ongoing case. Why are they discussing it? True crimers do not discuss open cases. True crimers discuss closed cases. Ray says, what is going on right now on YouTube? I think everything is totally screwy and you can't believe anything you hear. That's my general response. Exactly, Robin. And all these people saying, email your evidence to me. Email your evidence to me. Email your evidence of what? Anybody can create any profile and can post any comment or any video or whatever. Where's the evidence? Exactly, DG. Exactly. No doubt any investigator would appreciate having somebody hop up on the internet and admit to serious crimes, right? Might make their job easier. But come on. Oh, we went to the police. Yes, we went to the police and turned everything over. Yeah, okay. And then they're hopping right up on YouTube to say, oh, we went to the police and we turned everything over. Was that from their post when they said something about spending the day at the police station or whatever? But they said they were there because they were supposedly being harassed. Now it turns out they were there because they're working with law enforcement. Yeah, okay. Sure they are. And I just bet you they both wanted to run right down to their nearest police department. Uh-huh, sure. Those phone calls sounded absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I do agree that the case of Christopher Watts was probably one of the fastest ever in the history of true crime. But I also believe that Christopher Watts is everybody's doormat. And it's September already. If they're going to do anything to help him, they better hurry. But have you noticed how so many of the channels that were trying to build their channels on the case of Christopher Watts have flipped right on over to that other case? I think their contract is up. Right. He's paying his taxes, right? The house hasn't been auctioned off. He's paying his taxes. He still owns it miraculously, so he must be making the house payments somehow. And it sits there without being sold. The only true crime case that I can think of where the house is somehow magically still held in the name of the convicted murderer. Interesting. Good question, Ray. How is it sitting there? How could that be? Well, in order for it to be sitting there, that would mean that the lender would have to say, yeah, we're cool. We'll just let it sit there. And I'm thinking that's not usually how it works. Remember how CW wanted the beneath the fingernails material looked at and it was denied. He also claimed at the time that the system wasn't treating him fairly, and everyone scoffed. Exactly, Ray. Who's paying for it? Who's paying those taxes every year? Who's making the house payments? Robin says, but CW has lied so many times, so much already. Who would believe anything he says? Well, the wannabes, or the scats, or the scumbag attackers, believe the parts of his sentences that fit with their narrative. So the answer is they want to believe parts of what he says, just, part of it. Exactly. The receipts are in his name. Exactly, Robin. We've been told by a family member that we'll never know the truth because they don't tell people like us. Lots of rumors for sure. Creative Renewal. That's a nice name too. You guys have some interesting names. Well, he actually has forever to do an appeal. The whole 35C thing is just a YouTube marketing ploy. And he has forever to file an appeal. However, there is a 3-year statute of limitations on the lesser charges. So I think most people think that he should get off his duff and file something, right? Sharon says, I don't think we will ever know the truth. I think a lot of people do know the truth. I think the question is, can the truth ever be openly discussed? Or will it ever be openly discussed? Robin asks, is CW protecting NK? I don't think so at all. And I don't think NK was involved at all. Ray says, where is he funding it from? His family? Interesting. I doubt it. I don't know. It adds to the boy, there's something fishy here, right? Why is he still paying his taxes? How is he still paying his taxes? Why are they still his taxes to pay? Okay, so tell me true. Number one, yes. Number two, no. Number one, yes. Number two, no. Have you gotten hooked on the case of the missing 5-year-old? Be honest. Has that case hooked you in? And while you guys are voting, one yes, two no, I'm going to look up because Tennyson keeps saying that he cannot be found in prison. Ray got hooked. Suze is not hooked. In between one and two, I like those answers. Sharon, two, two. Okay, let's see if we can find Christopher Watson prison. Well, let's see. I'm going to search something else here. Locate an inmate. Enter person's first name. Christopher. Enter person's last name. It's still searching. It's almost done. Interesting. That's not him. Interesting. It didn't come up on the first list. Let's try a different search engine now. That won't let me away from this thing. Okay, then we're going to X you out and we'll start over. You guys can be looking it up too, and if you find it before me, say so. Okay, let's go right to the Department of Corrections. See if we can find him here. Doesn't look like it. Let's go back. And we'll go to the DOC offender information. Offender information. How do I search? Okay, this isn't what I need. How do I find it? Let's see here. Inmate locator. There we go. Last name, first name, and no offenders found. That's interesting. Why would that be? Well, we can't be actually, if you look into that further, but other countries can be, which makes people wonder why there are so many people in the UK so interested in this case. That's an interesting thought, Ray. So, okay, if think for yourself is right, then which case do you guys want to talk about? Let's go ahead and do the inmate locator for Colorado. Last name, first name, no results were found. Well, well, well. Isn't that interesting? Right, Jackie, I checked Wisconsin first, and I just checked Colorado. Ray says too many fans writing to him, except that it is public information. So I don't think they would magically seal information for one person and not another. Well, it's public information, and I think there are a lot of people who would appreciate having their names removed, right? Very weird, Sharon. Ray says, no offense. Cute. It is very weird. And I bet within 3 or 4 days we'll be able to look it up again and it'll be there. Betcha. I'll tell you the thing that really has me always wondering about this is that they were attacking people before many of us had even engaged in any discussion on this case. They selected people to attack. It was organized. It was launched immediately. The attacks were launched immediately. And let me tell you something. I'm not going to say who she is, but I'll tell you this. Somebody just supposedly got her channel terminated. Supposedly. She has been part of the attacks from day one. She used her Facebook group as a breeding ground for attacking innocent people. And those of us who were targeted right from the start were all attacked in those Facebook groups. Well, the scumbag attackers on YouTube, including her, were already organized and already attacking those of us they had targeted by making stupid videos and posting them on YouTube. So who recruited that gang to start the attacks immediately? Exactly, Robin. He's probably on a lifestyle getaway. Maybe they gave him 3 years early parole. Maybe somebody does know the truth. Maybe the plea deal that we've been reading isn't the real plea deal. There's something else that has always been kind of bothersome. Do you remember that first court appearance? Do you remember seeing the court officer standing there? And one of the relatives was audibly sobbing. And I thought to myself as I was watching that, wow, I've never seen a court proceeding continue with sobbing from the gallery. Ever. Typically what occurs is that the court officer will escort the sobbing person out of the courtroom, or the judge himself or herself will stop the proceeding until the courtroom is quiet. So when I was watching that, I thought, wow, that's interesting that the court proceeding is not being halted until the sobbing person was either escorted out of the courtroom or stopped sobbing. I thought that was different. It kind of stood out. I thought, never seen that before. That's interesting. And then, as I was thinking that, I noticed the sunglasses on the top of the court officer's head. And they looked like, I think they were polka dotted. And they looked like they were pretty inexpensive. And I thought to myself, I've never seen a uniformed officer wearing polka dotted plastic shades. Ever. I've also never seen a court officer in what I would describe as being out of uniform. Because wearing polka dotted shades on top of her head would have never passed inspection. So while there was sobbing from the gallery, and I noticed the polka dotted sunglasses on top of the court officer's head, I thought, there's something weird about this case. Right? There's something just weird about all of this. And little did I know at the time just how weird the next 3 years would be. Life Off the Grid says, I don't believe anybody's in contact with Cindy. I agree with you. Ray says, I'll still never, ever understand how they got away with going back and interviewing him again and taping it and taking him drinks. I agree, Ray. I've never heard of any investigator going to have a chit chat with a convicted. So, what are we supposed to believe? What's the official narrative? That Christopher Watts started dating, or I should say, doinking his coworker, and he got all excited about a future with his coworker that he decided to snuff out his entire family. Sure, Sharon, that's fine. As long as you think it's safe to be in there, I worry you guys because a lot of the discussion groups on Facebook have been infiltrated by the scats, the wannabes, the scumbag attackers. So just be really careful because when you join a Facebook group and then they click on your stuff and see who liked what and then they start data mining, just be super careful. Ray, are you talking about the comment when the police officer came up and the kid said, hey, remember me? Or when they found the phone, right? And then the officer looked at it like, I don't know, kind of like, oh, it's not time for that yet, right? Yes, Sharon, the truth is stranger than fiction. And 3 years straight of people apologizing or making excuses for what many of us look at and say, whoa. Robin says, do you believe that NK said that she wanted to give him his first son? Sue says, Summer saying he was drugged up and didn't know what he was doing or what was going on. Sharon says, does anyone watch Mia? I started to, but her wrenches are part of the package. Robin says, was SW really pregnant? Check the knives. Life Off the Grid says, I do not believe she had any diseases that she claimed, all mental instead. I don't believe at all that she had the long list of diseases she claimed. Not at all. Don't believe it. I just don't. I think that common sense needs to, join in the discussion a little bit, right? Lupus, fibromyalgia, endometriosis, what? Infertility? She had fertility issues? Really? When? When did she ever have fertility issues? Which pregnancy? How long did she try? 4 months? Hey, Miss CD, how you doing? And if she didn't have even just one that she's claiming she had, then how do we believe the others? Miss CD, we just tried to find Christopher Watts in the system and we can't find him in the system. Not that we want to start sounding like we're a Megan J channel or anything, but it's pretty strange that the house is sitting there, right? It's pretty strange that Christopher Watts is still paying the taxes on the house every year. It's pretty strange that we can't find him in the system. Exactly. Exactly right. Or fertility issues. No way. Exactly, Sharon. Fertility issues, pregnant 3 times in 5 years, that's not fertility problems. And then running parallel to all the inconsistencies in the case, we have the attacks going on where we're looking at the attacks just shaking our heads. We have absolute losers making accusations against people who are not losers as if they have a clue what they're even discussing. It's all just mind-boggling. It's like the gates of hell opened and a bunch of zombies are running around wreaking havoc on YouTube. Carpal tunnel, gluten intolerance. Exactly right, Daisy Days. Miss CD thinks they may have suppressed him because of how popular this case is and probably all the nut cases, I think, trying to get a piece of him. Drugs, medications, surgical procedures, illnesses of the kids, the familial Mediterranean fever. So many illnesses, in fact, that she couldn't even remember what the diagnosis was from the emergency room the night before. But she gave them lots of Tylenol. And let's not forget that gluten intolerance, that was the special kind of gluten intolerance where it kept going into remission anytime she wanted to have whatever she wanted to have. If it had gluten in it, of course, right? She had kind of like a temporary cure from time to time, depending if she wanted to have some gluten. Yes, supposedly there was a video and they saw that he carried them out like trash, but then that all changed. And evidently they were skipping along. There's no way she had celiac. No way. And at her age, I mean, come on. No way. And I'm not saying that nobody at her age, and who knows what her age even was, because I really don't think she was 34. She had more wrinkles on her forehead. She had more wrinkles on her forehead. She had wrinkles even like by her eyes and just, I mean, she had wrinkles. And she was 34. I'm sorry. Well, and remember about the pistachio nuts too. If they were pistachio nuts at her mother-in-law's house, those were dangerous. If they were pistachio nuts at her mother's house, those weren't dangerous. Oh my goodness, I didn't hear about that, Miss CD. I didn't hear about that. I wish I knew how to work this better. We could play it and talk about it. Let's see here. Okay, I almost typed in Alice Cooper. I have to stop and think what her name is. Okay, we got to hear this. Oh, it says, big night, we're having a party, and we may have a special guest calling. Yeah, this isn't scripted, this isn't planned, but right in the title it says, we may have a special guest calling. This will be interesting. Streamed 10 hours ago. Can you guys hear the StreamYard music playing? Oh, it's about a week old now? So this is a different one then. She is unhinged. Have you seen her drive? I haven't seen that. Okay, big night. Let's see. Skip ads. Oh, look at that. Ads. Is somebody making money off of true crime? Is somebody trying to make money? Here's an ad for the AARP.
When you select automatic renewal, then your second member. So that was it's been a fun night. I can't believe it's Labor Day weekend.
Okay, let's scroll ahead here, whatever you call it. I'll try to find the phone call. Let's see. Oh, wow. They're laughing.
I'd be surprised if she's a healer.
Maybe they're trying to mix it up. I don't know.
Sounds like a mix it up to me. I didn't say that. Yeah. Well,
1997 is 24 and 10th angel is 25. I didn't see.
They're counting all of their numbers, it sounds like. I don't know.
It has a strong smell.
No, yeah.
Does anyone have a timestamp?
Well, I say when in doubt.
that's only you.
Cool.
Wow, lots of the.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Kubi.
Lots of the. What do you call it? The super chat
Kubi,
money.
you didn't get to show us your.
There's a lot of money rolling in there. That's interesting from someone who says that they should not be making money.
What the hell is this? I'm going to check it out. And I went in just to kind of like have a good time and troll, because I like to move around. And I ended up really liking everybody in the chat. So shout out to the chat. Shout out to, Sandra and Deb and Danielle. And, shout out to all these.
No clue who that special guest is. So Miss CD, it was a week ago. Oh, it's reading the plea on that fundraiser. Got it. Okay. Well, yeah, Robin, she's making some bank there talking about true crime. I love it when you have commercials on channels that are saying stop talking about the case, right? Oh, okay. I'll look for that one. Yeah, if you ever deal with insomnia, that is actually a good channel to turn on, because it's kind of like, oh, what do you call it? You know what I mean? Like waves, like the sounds of nature. Kind of like it's the holiday and you got a bunch of people talking in the kitchen while you're taking a nap after turkey dinner, right? Okay, let's click on here. See if I can find it. Okay. Oh, another commercial. Wow.
Excuse me? What I meant.
She sure does advertise a lot, doesn't she, for someone who doesn't believe people should be making bank off of talking about true crime cases.
Fresh. Yep, because Pine Sol disinfects 99.9% of germs.
And this is the kind that you can't skip through.
Pine Sol, it's that kind of
An ad for Pine Sol. Okay, this is a thing showing the fundraiser. I'm skipping ahead to see if she does any commentary. Good music. I always enjoy piano music. had good music at least, but otherwise they were just playing the fundraiser. She's bossy in the kitchen. It's her way or no way. Yes, white noise. Thank you, Justin. Duh. Thank you. Ray says, super chats. Didn't even know this stuff existed. I just used to watch. You know what, you guys? When did YouTube become a free-for-all? Seriously. YouTube is free. But they keep on playing. I don't know. Do you think real people are paying the money? Or do you think this is just how they get paid by their fearless leaders? It is. It's a scammer's paradise. Exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly right. I cannot imagine watching a YouTube live chat and thinking, oh, I know. I'm going to give her $10 so that maybe she'll read my question. I don't get that. Why would anybody pay a YouTube live chatter to read their question? And what is this with all the membership stuff? Why are people paying for memberships for YouTube? YouTube is free. Okay, if you want to join Patreon, you know up front going in, there's a monthly fee to be in Patreon. And we all know from personal experience that sometimes Patreon is the only place where you can actually watch videos without getting harassed. But YouTube is free. So why would anybody pay any money at all? I don't get it. And I know people sit up there and say, oh yeah, you know, this is my full-time job. Is it? I mean, I get it if they have like 50,000 followers and they really invest a lot of time in it and stuff, then that's different. But even then, they're not begging for money. They're just up there doing their thing and providing interesting content, which is why they do have all the followers they have, right? So that's different. I'm talking about people with 7,000, 10,000, 15,000 subscribers who a lot of them, you know, bought their subscribers, who are saying, oh yeah, this is my full-time job. And then we find out from that little website that tells you exactly what they're making that, ooh, wow, they made $700 at their full-time job for the entire month, right? Okay. Really? I don't think so. Right. Maybe it is like a fan club. But I don't know. A fan club, usually you just had to, I mean, I'm talking back in the day in the 60s and 70s when fan clubs were a thing. You just had to pay for really whatever the cost of a magazine would be, right? Which wasn't much back then. They pay so they can have a cute emoji next to their name. Isn't that something? Or even taking part in the discussion. I don't get that, how anybody would want to limit their discussion and make people have to pay for it. It's like, what? I don't get that. But then I wonder, when they pay, are they getting some sort of personal information? Because you guys remember, I told you, a lot of these platforms, when you're paying money, they can actually get your information. Ray says that lockdown has made people loopy. I think people were loopy before. I think it has to do with the unlimited phone, the unlimited data plans. I do. It was actually Granny Fanny who said that to me a couple years ago, that the crazies came out as soon as they made the phones unlimited. Sharon says maybe they pay a membership to show they're dedicated to that channel. If this channel had membership, I'd join. But it's on YouTube. So that's the part I don't get. Ah, signed photos of Alice. Woo! That name came from Sesame Street, Sharon. Here's a thought that I had earlier. Do you remember the confusion over where Christopher Watt's wife's office was? Where do you guys think her office was? Was it upstairs on the second floor? Was it on the main floor, or was it in the basement? Do you know? Just give me your guess. What's your first guess? And then here's a totally random survey for you. What percentage of Americans claim to be Christians? Tennyson says by the front door. Robin says downstairs by the garage entrance. Main floor. Wasn't it downstairs? The closet. Well, I'm confused because I thought it was upstairs. And then people were talking who said they thought it was in the basement. And then people were talking who said they thought it was on the first floor. Okay? So if you look at it, I think it's on the first floor. I'm not sure. And I think it's by the garage entrance. I think Robin, I think that's where it's at, but I'm not sure. I could be wrong. Okay? And I think it included her, I don't know, didn't she misspell the word gorgeous or something? Hey, gorgeous or whatever. Okay, now think about this. What if that was her bedroom? What if it was on the main floor, right by the entrance to the garage? What if that was her bedroom? Do you guys remember how I told you that she had a blog when she was pregnant with Bella that she posted in regularly until she was 32 weeks along in the pregnancy? And then she didn't post again. Do you remember that I told you, hey, MJ, that on her own Facebook post, she was claiming she was in Indianapolis for like a month or more in the spring of 2016. And if you take a good look at her public posts, then you may notice the trend starting in June of 2016, which would have been shortly after she would have returned from Indianapolis from the looks of her own words. She started posting about how Bella and Cece were sick all the time. Both kids are sick again, right? And then, oh, let's not forget, 4 months into the marriage, poof, she got pregnant with Bella. And then when Bella was just 10 months old, poof, she got pregnant with Cece. Could it be that Christopher Watts saw a different side to her after they got married? Could that explain why they got pregnant so fast with Bella? Could it be that at the 32-week mark of that pregnancy that he saw an even different side to her? Could that be why when Bella was just 10 months old, poof, she got pregnant really fast again? July of 2015, full bankruptcy. Married just 2.5 years. Full bankruptcy over 70 grand. Interesting. And then the next spring, Indiana, talking about checking out at the hospital pretty much daily, talking about going roller skating on a Friday night, I think it was, talking about going to Applebee's for dinner. It wasn't just one random post about Indianapolis. There were many posts about Indianapolis. And they had relatives move right into the basement. And then after the Indianapolis posts, she was posting how the kids were sick all the time. June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And then in December of 2016, both girls were in the hospital. And then in January of 2016, the nurse who she said was her friend, well, she stopped mentioning her ever again to her mother-in-law. Ever again. And then the relatives moved out, and both girls were in daycare full time. So it takes me back to my question. What if her bedroom was actually on the first floor? I'm going to scroll up and see if you guys answered the percentage here. Let's see. Because I know I threw two totally unrelated things at you at the same time. Let's see. You guys are cute. You're not answering the question about the percentage of Christians in the United States. Shift happens. What was the point of the religion percentage? Okay, let's go ahead and answer the question. What percentage, without Googling, what percentage of people in the United States self-profess to be Christians? Just off the top of your head, what do you think? %, Miss CD says. Any other guesses? 60%, Daisy Day says. 70%, Ray says. Sharon says not many. She's watched too many Karen videos. Susie's here. Hey, Susie. The question is, how many United States citizens profess to be Christians? Sharon Ann says 60%. DJ says 50%. Ooh, Tennyson says 80. Daisy Days, okay. 60, Sharon. Okay, we got it. Here's the thing. There for a while, I think people were hearing news reports often, repeatedly, that fewer and fewer people were self-identifying as Christians. Oh, fewer and fewer people. Oh, fewer and fewer people. Well, if you dig in just a little, you'll find out that there was a Pew Foundation survey, which the Pew Foundation is highly respected. That said, I think it was 72 or 74% of people in the United States claim to be Christians. At the time, the general consensus was 40 or 50% were claiming to be Christians. That was just kind of the off the top of your head kind of a 40 to 50, yeah. And we kept hearing over and over again how fewer and fewer Christians were, well, fewer and fewer people were claiming to be Christians. And then, like I said, you just scratch the surface and you find this Pew Foundation report, and it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. 72 to 74%? Really? The same thing is happening with the case of Christopher Watts. How many people, well, not in this group, obviously, because you guys are smart, but how many people are still of the belief from a few years back, I would say pre-President Trump, before he won in 2016, how many people are of the belief that there are fewer and fewer Christians, right? Because that's what we've been told over and over again. So the connection to the case of Christopher Watts is, oh, they had such a happy marriage and they had such a beautiful home. You know, one channel creator just recently referred to the bedroom on the main floor as what some people call the maid's quarters or the servant's quarters. Are you kidding me? I've been a real estate broker for a couple of decades. I have my JD. I'm a domestic relations mediator, a real one, not like the guacamole who likes to claim that she has, I think, certification and licenses and whatever. I have never, in over 20 years as a real estate broker, I have never heard a house like the house on Saratoga Trail. I've never heard of a main floor bedroom being referred to as the servants' quarters. It's all part of the false narrative BS that we've been fed over and over again. If there was a bedroom on the main floor, and if that was her bedroom, what if that marriage was actually over years before the tragedy occurred? The false narrative, we're told, is that she was highly successful, a retired nurse, no less, a highly successful business executive with a billion-dollar company, a stay-at-home mom who did more than 90% of the other women out there. She earned her car, right? We've been told so many lines of what I think can only be called BS. What is so highly successful about having a stockpile of product and a stack of credit cards? And creditors calling even the morning of the tragedy. Stay-at-home mom with 2 children in daycare full-time is offensive to stay-at-home moms. Success, blah, 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 is offensive to successful people. Lupus, fibromyalgia, fertility issues, celiac disease, gluten intolerance, and there's more. It's offensive to anybody who truly suffers from those conditions, diseases, syndromes. Familial Mediterranean fever, asthma. Sorry, sweet cheeks, but if your kids have asthma, you don't give them lots of Tylenol. If your kids have asthma, you don't have big blankets over their faces when they're sleeping. If your kids have asthma, you don't leave them in their bedrooms for 12 hours straight with a lock on the door. If you are working your butt off, if you are taking care of your children, if you are being careful what you spend, if you are paying for your own car, right? If you actually have gone to nursing school, if you actually have earned your RN degree, it's offensive to be told that Christopher Watt's wife called herself Nurse Nene. But that narrative keeps going, doesn't it? It keeps going and going and going. And what are we known as? We're known as bashing Christopher Watt's wife because we don't buy the narrative. Rachel says, this case is so intriguing, lies and deceit every corner. I don't believe kids had allergies or that she had lupus. I did have concerns on lots of her videos, but CW has no excuse for what he did. I think that's a very real possibility, and I think if so, I think she was on it for a very long time. Miss CD says, and raising money for attorneys is downright comical. Get a real job. Ray says, some moms can't do the stay-at-home stuff. I know a few who struggle with the boredom of it. Maybe she didn't enjoy it, or maybe she wasn't capable of it. If that was her bedroom on the main floor, if that was her bedroom on the main floor, could it be that at the 32-week mark of that pregnancy, that whatever occurred brought the marriage to an end? Rachel says if he would have left her, she would not have coped. That's for sure, because she would not have time to do the Thrive videos. I think she would have had time to do the Thrive videos because I don't think she worked. I don't think she would have gotten custody of the children. And I think she would have had 24/7 to do whatever Thrive video she would have wanted to do. However, she would have lost her stage. And that would have been a problem. She would have lost her stage props because Christopher Watts was looking for an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment for himself and his 2 children. I think if he would have left, she would have had to have done her own laundry, but I think that she would have had hired help. And I don't mean to say that she had hired help. I think it would have been part of the question of whether or not she was on disability. I think if he had left, and I think he was leaving, and I think she knew he was leaving, and I think she knew that he was leaving way back in March of 2018, if not even long before then I don't think he had anything at all to lose. And I think she had everything to lose. And I think she knew it. And I think she was not about to let that happen. I think she was mentally ill. I do. And I think that her mental illness probably was first noticed when she was very young. Rachel says, I did hear CW was worried to leave as he was afraid she would do something silly because she would not be able to do all that, she would not be able to do all what she wanted. No excuse for what he did. CW did all of the domestic chores. She was busy labeling containers for the pantry. I agree. And I don't even think she had OCD at all. I think that was part of her thing, part of her shtick. Hey, Blue Autumn. Blue Autumn says, nor do I believe she had lupus or allergies or fibromyalgia or whatever else she claimed she had. The girl was a fake, phony, lying con artist who hated her mother-in-law because Cindy was onto her. I don't think she hated her mother-in-law at all. Not at all. Hey, Little Star. Little Star says, hi, Mensa. Hi, chat. How late am I? Well, we've solved all the world's problems. Now we're just chatting a little bit. I agree, Susie. I think mental illness was going on long before she latched on to CW. I think when she was a teenager, a young teenager, I think is when it first surfaced. And I think she was living on the dole. I don't think she ever made a penny with any of the MLMs she was signing up for. Rachel says he cleaned, entertained the children, did laundry, bathed the kids, dressed them, packed their lunches for school the next day, also laid their clothes out, ready, depending on weather. You can see from those videos, those children were leaning toward him, and they were not leaning toward her. Brandy says, I have always wondered why none of the family found it disturbing that she dosed those babies with Tylenol every day. Cindy Watts told us that she did find it very disturbing. I think the question is, why, according to Cindy, and I believe her, why is it that everybody was constantly walking on eggshells around her? What is it that they were trying to prevent from happening? What would happen if she lost it? What would happen if she lost her temper? What would happen if she, came unglued? And why 3 years later is Christopher Watts still sitting there with a doofus look on his face? Instead of very clearly saying what happened. Check the knives. Brandy reminds us of the words probably most haunting, I think, of this entire case. Check the knives? Check the knives for what? To see if there are any missing? Well, if somebody was to check the knives to see if there were any knives missing, then that would mean that that person would evidently already have the complete inventory of what knives were supposed to be there. He put them in oil and I had a dream. Ray says, I wonder if she'd gone missing before. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it, when Cindy Watts says that she just figured that she just took off and was like trying to, I guess, make Christopher pay for whatever. Like she'll show him. So the whole thing with the question about how many people in the United States consider themselves to be Christians, the reason I brought that up is because people actually were believing the news stories that fewer and fewer people, right? But I'm sorry, if 3/4 of your population are self-proclaimed Christians, that's pretty much a majority of the country. That's a huge majority. It goes against the grain of what we're being told. The truth goes against the grain of what we're being told. I personally think that all of those, I think it was 72% or 74%, I think each and every one of us should wear our cross necklaces. I think each and every person who is a self-proclaimed Christian should wear a cross necklace or get a cross tattoo or, I don't know, a bracelet with a big cross or whatever, or a t-shirt with a big cross. I wear my cross necklace every single day of my life. And even when I was a judicial officer, I kept my cross necklace right out front and center. When I worked for the state police, I kept my cross necklace right out front and center. Every real estate transaction I have ever handled, every listing appointment, every closing, I kept my cross necklace right out front and center. Susie says, I have the rosary on my foot. You'll have to explain that to me, Susie. Is that like an ankle bracelet, you mean? What would that be called? Not an anklet. Sharon Ann says, I'm not religious in any shape or form. Daisy Day says, who FaceTimes their father-in-law every night? Why would you want to? Every single night. That's what we were told. Every single night. His father-in-law and he would FaceTime, I think, so that his father-in-law was able to check on the girls. Oh, okay, got it. A tattoo. Rosary beads around my ankle and the cross on foot. Nice. Good job, Susie. Hey, Paul. Paul says, no, little star, the sunshine is different in San Diego and doesn't affect lupus. I think it was lupus. It was like the 5th or 6th kind of lupus, the kind that you can will away for the day if you've got plans. Rachel doesn't think that the illnesses existed. Little Star says, I think he was afraid of her kicking him out, having a scene in front of the neighbors. Maybe he was afraid. It could be. I don't know. Maybe he was afraid of leaving her while the children were so young. Maybe he was afraid that he wouldn't automatically get custody. Oh, that's a cute comment. I can't wear a necklace that causes a rash because I can't afford gold. And no, I'm not begging for your money. Well, then you can get a cross pin. If you want to wear a cross, you can get a cross pin and put it right up on your lapel. She had no lupus, Little Star said. She only had hypochondria and MBP. I think she may have had lyritis, actually. I don't think she was a hypochondriac. Or a hypochondriac. I don't think she was. I think she knew damn well what she was saying. Life Off the Grid says, listening while cleaning for my stepdaughter to come for Memorial Day. Memorial Day. Beyond excited. Love her so much. That's cool. I think it's cool that you're having Memorial Day. That's even cooler. Blue Autumn says, yes. How is it possible it can still sit there, unentered, unused, but he signed it over? Yeah. Why is the house sitting there? Well, she was on her knees begging him not to leave her. She would have done anything for him to stay. Really? Like calling his mother evil and his father stupid and refusing to let them see the girls? Daisy Day says, I love the rosary. I have rosary beads everywhere. Rachel says, I can't see Thrive being the reason she stopped her lupus medication. I don't believe she had it to start with. I don't either. Blue Autumn says, is the furniture still in that house or is it sitting empty? I think it's sitting empty. Rachel thinks it's sitting empty too. I've been told it's sitting in a storage unit somewhere. Who knows? I get random people contacting me with information. Ooh, yeah, I missed that comment. Oh, I just scrolled past it here. The drastic measures comment, that was a good one. There it is. Susie said exactly. She wouldn't or couldn't cope, hence drastic measures. Who had everything to lose? Christopher Watts had nothing to lose. Nothing at all to lose. Yeah, little star. I thought stealing the stones was pretty priceless there. Life off the grid. She did not have lupus. This is personal for me. I am offended that SW claimed to have had lupus. My entire family has served in the military, including my son and stepson. We are proud of this in my family. I think the delusions were pervasive. I certainly do. I'm different than a lot of people in what I think. I know a lot of people have said that they think that she had like BPD, right? Or that she had whatever. I think it was more serious than that. I think she had very well developed personalities. And I think she had some days and some times where she was able to function. And I think she had some days and some times where she wasn't able to function, which brings me back to my question, was that her bedroom on the main floor? Little Star says, can we take a moment to celebrate Kay getting deleted? I, for one, am elated. Well, people are trying to turn that into some sort of a freedom of speech thing. The same with that case that's supposedly happening, right? I don't think anything to do with her has anything to do with freedom of speech. Let me tell you. She has lied about me multiple times. She has harassed me by calling my home in the middle of the night using a fake robo voice, but not being catchy enough to, or alert enough, I guess, to block her phone number. She has said so many terrible things, all out lies about me. And she has, I guess, been friends with others who have done some pretty shady, nasty things to harm me, to harass me. So when I saw that supposedly her channel got deleted, I, didn't lose any sleep over that for sure. But here's the thing, I don't even think it got deleted. I don't. I think that whatever she was supposed to do, I think it's over. I don't think that her channel got deleted because of any, boo-hoo. She was nasty one too many times. I think all this channel deleting crap is all part of the bigger agenda. It's all part of the sham. Of course she'll be back. Maybe she's taken some time off with the, true crime routine. But I highly doubt that she was, I would say, deleted without her knowledge and consent. Just my opinion. I've seen way too much shady shit going on for 3 years straight to believe any of it. It is kind of convenient too, isn't it, that all of a sudden all those videos are gone. That's kind of interesting. As a bunch of new people come on and, to discuss the case, then they don't see a lot of those videos. Kind of like the purple one, bashing Christopher Watt's wife back in March of 2019. Gee, where's that video? Okay, tell me who the troll is, Lovey. Susie, do you know? She's a troll? Okay, I just checked my email. I don't see anything yet. Absolute hypocrite and two-faced. Hoo. Can't be doing with trolls. Wait. Susie. Okay. Hang on. Okay, done. Thanks, guys. Judy wants to know if she's the troll. So far, I don't think so, Judy, but, the day is young. We'll ask Susie. And I think it was Life Off the Grid, right? Thank you for that. Oh, got it. Okay, I get it now. Duh. I'm just seeing the name and looking at the comments and not connecting any dots there. Got it. Okay. That's the friend of the couch lady. Got it. Little star, the couch lady is the recliner lady. Yeah, the thing is, people are looking for content. Little star says question mark. NC. Initials NC. The thing is, when channel creators are cruising around looking for content, I guess, there is no good answer, because to go ahead and have a discussion, then there's going to be something that was said that was just so terrible. And then to block is like, oh, she blocked me. There is no winning answer. But I will say this, at least on this channel, we don't have moderators at all, because I depend on you guys to tell me if I need to know something. So at least we don't have moderators who are getting like slammed. You know what I mean? They've been slamming me for 3 years, so whatever. Life Off the Grid says, Sharon, you have never received nasty emails. I have. Scary. Exactly, Susie. And I've learned that you guys know better than I do who's who and what's what. So Paul says, that's what I like here. Free speech. Yeah, free speech, unless people in our group don't want you here. Then forget it. Life Off the Grid says, after opening her nasty email, my Facebook and Gmail were hacked. Just saying. Ooh, Life Off the Grid, you have to delete that last comment. We don't allow that here. A 1, 2, 3, hurry up and delete it, please. There we go. Sorry about that, Life Off the Grid. We do not allow that here. Lots of love, Paul. So that was fun. Anyone else we should block? Well, we've got the block button going. Sharon, I just blocked Life. Life Off the Grid, I just blocked her. She just put somebody's actual name in the chat, and we can't do that. Exactly. She doxed. Whether or not that's the correct definition of the word doxed, I don't care. People say, that's not doxing. Well, whatever. It is on this channel, and we don't allow it. DJ says, I have PTSD and people do avoid me when I have a flare-up. I never know when it will happen. They don't understand. Few friends, fewer family. Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't matter. We don't need to be putting people's names right in the comments. That's opening all of us up for getting into some kind of brawl, and that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There's something else about this whole narrative that goes on. Have you noticed? People are using the word narcissist. Like everybody's a narcissist. When actually, in real life, there are very few people who are actual narcissists. People may act in a way that is somewhat narcissistic. It doesn't make them a narcissist. There are all sorts of, even the word plagiarism. You know, that's what they say all the time. Plagiarism. Oh, so-and-so plagiarizes. They probably don't even know what that word means. Or they'll say, she talked in the third person, or she wrote in the third person. So, people learn that even in college. Sometimes you write in the first person, sometimes you write in the third person. One that's really offensive to me is when they try to pretend that they're mediating something. They'll be like, let's go ahead and have KK be the mediator. Yeah. Or Kim or whoever, you know. They're jumping in being the mediator, or that trauma chick who does the boohoo and then abuses other people. And yes, abuses other people. She simply cannot stand firm on her claim to know all about trauma if she's going to be abusing other people. It makes no sense. So they're going to be mediators. They don't even know how a mediation goes if the way they're acting is how they think a mediation goes. Because mediators don't butt in and give their opinion. That isn't what mediation is about. In fact, I'm actually thinking of starting a mediation channel. A totally separate channel from all this stuff, where we can talk about mediation, where we can talk about conflict resolution. I should start a real estate channel too. That would be fun. The mediation channel would be fun too. Probably a lot more fun than the case of Christopher Watts. Yes, they're calling Christopher Watts a narcissist. That is hilarious. There is not one aspect at all of his personality that we've seen evidenced in any of those videos or any of the claims that would label him a narcissist. The man was in the closet hanging up his children's laundry on his birthday while everybody else was celebrating his birthday with his wife being the center of attention down in the living room. He was very quickly hanging up the laundry right after he took it out of the washing machine so that he could get it hung up just right before it started to dry. That is not a narcissist. The narcissist, in my opinion, is the person who was the center of attention down in the living room when it was her husband's birthday and he was upstairs folding laundry or hanging laundry just right and fast before it started to dry. Whatever says, yes, do that. Both are great ideas. I think it would be fun. I do. Susie needs a glass of wine. Susie says, where's my wine? Judy says, mediation to me is that you meet somewhere in the middle. Actually, mediation, the role of the mediator is to provide basically a safe space where people can feel and think and know that it is safe and even comfortable for them to express what they need to express, to say what they need to say. And then the parties themselves are encouraged to communicate. They're taught even. In some mediations, the parties are taught even communication skills, which then they'll hopefully take with them, right? And maybe they won't need mediation the next time they have any kind of an issue or any kind of a conflict. It's about communication. It's about having a safe space and somebody there pretty much helping to keep it a safe space so that people are free to communicate and to work together so they can learn to work together to resolve their own conflicts. What I've been seeing on the panels where they're saying, oh, we're going to mediate, we've got KK is going to be our mediator. What I see happening there is KK has attitude, she has opinions, she tries to tell them how it's going to be. No, that isn't mediation. No, not at all. Yes, Tennyson. Christopher Watts worked all day, and then he would get out of work, he'd drive home, he'd change his clothes, hop in the car, and drive up to the daycare center and pick up the girls. DJ says that her flare-ups are when she gets mad and has an anxiety attack, crying, telling people off, throwing things, slamming doors. Ooh. And after I isolated for a few days, I was triggered by the new gun laws in Texas. That's PTSD? Good question, Tennyson. What did Christopher Watts' wife do all day? Whatever says, can you put the link to your mediation channel on your About page? I will, whatever, after I create them. I think it would be a good idea. I think it would be an interesting channel. I think that the communication skills that we do try to encourage in an actual mediation would be helpful for everybody. And we could do like a question and answer thing. I think that'd be interesting. And the same with the real estate channel. I think that'd be really fun. I could call the real estate channel Ask the I can't say it. I better not call it this name. I was going to say Ask the Expert, but it's a little bit of a tongue twister for me. So I'll come up with a better name. Yes, Judy, it is about communication. And so many times in mediation, we find, and I say we, and I don't mean the mediator, but people taking part in a mediation find that the core issue that they're actually struggling with was not at all the issue they thought they were struggling with. So many times, and it's kind of like the magic moment of mediation, the aha moment, when we're able to facilitate this safe communication and promote a healthy communication between the parties, and they get to that point of mediation where they just absolutely relax. Like, you can just tell that the room just, it's so fun to watch it unfold, because they can be arguing safely and with respect, but they can be, challenging and whatever. And then all of a sudden the aha moment comes and they realize the core issue is something way over there, that they're going, wait a minute here. One gift that I have as a mediator is that I ask really good questions. I don't make statements of my opinion at all. A good mediator doesn't. A good mediator asks good questions. And it's always interesting to me. I can't tell you who the parties were at all. I can't tell you where, what, anything. And you have no clue even what state this mediation took place in, because I am on 38 court rosters as a certified domestic relations mediator and also a general civil mediator. Okay? So you have no clue what state this is in, and I'm not going to give you any party names at all or any details that would help you figure out who it is. But I was appointed by the court to be a mediator for a long battle that was going on. And I'm talking a couple of years, a very expensive battle for the parties. And I have kind of a cocky sense of humor. So when I came in the door, I said, today's your lucky day. Don't ask me why, but people who I work with always come to a full resolution. I don't know why. So today's your lucky day. You can plan on it. Both sides, and the sides were loaded with people, by the way. Usually you have just a couple, one or two on each side. We had, well, the room was packed. Both sides agreed that I was wrong. And they laughed with each other, probably for the first time in a couple of years. And they figured, not this time. Sorry to ruin your record here, because there's no way we're going to settle today. No way. I had already figured that this was going to be a very long mediation just based on the case file. I planned. I settled in thinking, okay, let's get started. 25 minutes into the mediation. And remember, I charge hourly. So it's kind of part of the punchline. Oops, I've got to plug in my battery. Hold on a minute. Or not my battery, my computer. It says my battery is running low. There. So 25 minutes into it, I asked a question that I thought was just an obvious question. I actually wanted to know the answer. I wasn't sure. And I thought, if I'm asking the question, if I'm wondering, then maybe there's somebody else in the room who's wondering also. So I asked just a really lame question, and the room went silent. And one of the lawyers on one side spoke directly to one of the lawyers on the other side, saying, I think we need to settle. And the room stayed pretty silent, let me tell you, because these people were fighting for 2 years. And they settled. And I sat there kind of laughing to myself because my record was still, I think my actual record is like 97% for full resolution, which is unheard of in the world of mediation. But again, it's that simple. Provide the safe space, encourage healthy communication, and then ask really good questions. I had no clue at the time that my question was evidently one side or the other's Achilles heel. No clue. No clue at all that question would have led to full resolution. And then the punchline is that the lawyers present encouraged me to raise my rates, which I thought was fun. Like, that's the best compliment you can get in the world of mediation, is to have the lawyers representing the parties encourage you to raise your rates. That's like a hallelujah moment. Because obviously, one mediation leads to another, right? Not with the same parties, but you know what I'm saying. It is that simple, though. It's that simple. This ties in to what we've been talking about for 3 years. We're just discussing a case. That's all. We're not engaging in any kind of baloney. We're just discussing a true crime case, just like we've discussed every other true crime case for, in my case, over 13 years. But for some reason, with the case of Christopher Watts, it got all complicated there, didn't it? Because for some reason, there are a whole bunch of people who don't want people like us to be noticing the obvious. She gave Bella and Cece lots of Tylenol. That should piss off every parent. That should piss off every grandparent. That should piss off every adult. That there is a social media post of a parent admitting to giving children lots of Tylenol, and we're the only people discussing this case who look at that and say, what? What dose exactly is lots of Tylenol? The water in the eyes should piss off every parent, every grandparent, every person, every adult should be looking at that video and saying, good Lord, how can it be that that little girl was getting sprayed like that right in the face, and her own father acted like he was too afraid to save her? Why are we the only ones discussing this case who can look at that video and say, you know what, in my opinion, that's child abuse. And in my opinion, Christopher Watts looked like he was too afraid to protect his own daughter from child abuse. And the coup de grace is that his wife sat there laughing. And then she said, ha ha ha, this is why we had kids. This is why we had kids? So we could make videos splashing her in the face? And let's bring a little logic into this discussion. Didn't she have tubes in her ears? Or was that before she got tubes in her ears? Either way, wasn't she sick all the time? How does that work for your earaches and for your sinuses and for your asthma? Again, a child who supposedly had asthma and she's getting sprayed like that in the face? If you've ever had a child with asthma, or if you're in the nursing profession, or if you're related to any child, or if you yourself had asthma, then you know damn well that getting sprayed in the face with water could trigger an asthma attack. At the very least, a child who truly suffers from asthma does not need to have her face getting, that wasn't just a little squirt gun. That was one of those cleaning bottle things. That stream was not just a little trickle or splash. If your child truly has asthma, how dare you? How dare you stream water right directly into her face, right directly into her eyes, right into her little face, and then we notice her reaction? She stood there and she took it as if it wasn't the first time that she knew to stand there and to take it. Yes, I'm going to the post office while the kids are sleeping. Now, after I first saw that, I learned then, of course, we all learned that the kids were both in daycare full time, which makes you kind of wonder, okay, so was she lying to her handful of fans or whoever it was who was watching her? What, 3 or 4 people? I don't know, 5 or 6 people? Was she lying to them? Or were the kids actually there? I mean, either way, it's not good. She was either lying to her handful of fans or she was actually leaving children at the house locked in their rooms while she went to the post office because she had to evidently go pick up some juju and some caffeine-coated Band-Aids. Just saying. I need to do something for just a half a second. I'm going to click on the mute thing so you guys keep on talking. That's a grammatically incorrect sentence. Keep on talking, and I'll be right back. Hey guys, I'm back. I had to just check on something. I'm going to have to run in about 5 or 10 minutes here. I need to try to find a plumber on a holiday weekend. Which won't be hard because I know a plumber really well. But I'm going to have to run. So I'm glad that you guys came to talk about the case. I'm glad that you guys are feeling free to state your opinions. Because even though it looks like the true crime community has been invaded by a bunch of scammers, scats, scumbag attackers, wannabes, whatever they are, I'm glad at least here we can actually keep discussing true crime cases without being too afraid to state our opinion. We have the right to discuss true crime cases. We have the freedom to discuss true crime cases. The case of Christopher Watts is on the public stage, and I want to be very clear, the public stage does not mean YouTube. Just because somebody has a YouTube channel does not place them on the public stage. The case of Christopher Watts is on the public stage, so we do have the right to discuss it, and we do have the right to form our own opinions on the case. Ooh, I love it, Miss CD. Love it. Good suggestion. Those birds sound different today, don't they? That's a different one. Paul says, I just never go to the scat channels. Good for you, Paul. That's healthy that way. Thunder Before Lightning says, or there could have been someone else at the house, but she wanted to do the errand while they were sleeping to avoid a meltdown when told they can or can't go, I don't know, or have to take them with her. Or it could be she was lying, or it could be she was leaving them alone. Exactly, Miss CD. There's no such thing as libel or slander of a dead person. They sound different today, though, don't they, Susie? They sound different. And I'm trying to see, I can see what trees they're in, but I can't see exactly which birds they are. They sound a little bit different. Sue says, are you coming back tonight, I think I will, but I have to get videos uploaded to Patreon. So if I don't come back tonight, it's because I'm not finished uploading. Because when I upload, it takes a long time. It does that circle buffer thing. So it's always kind of it takes a while. But it's still early in the day. So yes, I do plan on coming back on tonight. If I don't, then I will tomorrow for sure. But I'll try tonight. And in the meantime, I'm uploading for the Peterson tier, the Routier tier about Darlie Routier. Isn't that cute? The Routier tier. The Betty Broderick tier. I have a good one for the Killer Wife tier on the Lynn Turner case. I did one last week on the Stacy Castor, I think is her name, case. And then this one's on Lynn Turner. They both killed 2 husbands or boyfriends or whatever. Stacy killed 2 husbands. Lynn Turner killed 1 husband and 1 boyfriend using the antifreeze poisoning. I mean, that's just really weird, I think, to find 2 women who both killed 2 guys using antifreeze. Oh my goodness. So today's video in the Killer Wife tier will be on Lynn Turner. And it's also weird. Both women died when they were very young. And I don't know how young off the top of my head, but they were both like late 40s, I think. Maybe even mid to late 40s. And in both cases, there were articles saying that they were found dead in their jail cell. That's kind of creepy. Kind of weird. Sharon said, I was filling my bird feeders up at 6 this morning. I spend loads on different stuff for them. Aw. That's a nice person who cares about the birdies. They were in deep sleeps with the Tylenol, Benadryl, and ibuprofen and various allergy meds. She no doubt left them sleeping while running errands. I think they were in daycare and she was lying. That's my opinion. Because I don't think she was able to be there with them, but I think that she tried to make videos to make it sound like she was. Daisy Day says, how about a live Patreon? I don't know how to do that, Daisy Days. I'm not sure how to do it. I would love to do that. That'd be great, but I don't know how. I'll try to figure it out. And I'm thinking too about trying to create the mediation channel and the real estate channel. I think that'd be fun. Miss CD says, I can't have bird feeders. I have 3 cats. Sharon says, and I feed the hedgehog. Oh my, you have a hedgehog. Now that's cute. Who was the hedgehog back in the 80s? Was it Herbie the hedgehog? There was a popular hedgehog back in the day. Yes, Mary, I agree. Lots of Tylenol, everyone. And like I said, that should piss us all off. This whole idea of this narrative that they were just a big happy family, with servants' quarters. Sonic, yes, thank you, Miss CD. Sonic the Hedgehog. But, you know, this whole farce that they were happy dappy, sorry, I don't think so. I think Christopher Watts was doing his best to, well, I think they were all doing their best to walk on eggshells around his wife. Just my opinion. Okay, everyone, have a great rest of the day, and we'll meet up tonight. If not tonight, then tomorrow for sure. I'm glad you came. Talk to you soon.